Go Steeler Nation. Hey, my name is SteelerWadeShow. Welcome back. This is a weekend edition. Hope you've had a great one and ready for this new week. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about quarterbacks. I'm burnt. So, there's a couple podcasts out there that I admire, and they have done like a soft preliminary, like a mock draft, right? I haven't watched other things, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I'd do one. I did one last year. I did two of them, one at the beginning, one at the end. I was thinking, maybe I'd do another one. Well, it is kind of impossible to do for me. It's BS anyway. Mock drafts are BS. I mean, sorry, but it's really impossible to do without free agency, right? Like we still have like 3 weeks, and that's going to give us a couple telltales about what's going to happen. But I thought, like, oh, I'm going to get into this, right? Well, I know you wanted to hear the podcast about punters. It's coming, but I had to push it off a little bit, because I'm thinking about this stuff. Where my stance is that I was going to end up saying some things probably that people didn't really agree with, especially with what the quality is of the center class with the two guys on top. I was going to end up saying that I believe that the Steelers would go towards free agency with the center. There's something about that position. It reminds me of middle linebacker. There's something about, and I'm not talking about the money aspect of it, but the intelligence. It's really down. It's the football IQ on the field and the communication skills. What they can develop. And I just kept thinking, like, I really think they need to. Obviously, they don't have a tackle. They have Cole. They don't have a tackle over there. They have Spencer Anderson. But what are they going to do? So I figured, hey, I'm going to go with, because I have other things that I want to see happen, So I set out, and I'm thinking, well, my first pick is going to be a tackle. The problem with going in as a tackle is that, and this is no disrespect to Guyton's play, but he, to me, is like the fringe, right? To me. Like the fringe of somebody you can really see something, like you're not using the word development. You're using it with him. Sorry. With all offensive linemen. But you're using it with him. But there's a difference between him and the next step. So people thinking that Tomlin likes him and this and that. And that's all good and stuff. But, like, he's no farther ahead than Broderick, so if there wasn't a run on tackles, I would say go tackle. But if it gets all the way to like Guyton, then I'm like, oh, well, he might not be the most valuable, Please comment, please like. Tell me what your picks are. This is just my little weekend edition. The thing about it is, too, with Guyton, though, is that if there is not a run on these tackles, if they are not found as valuable as they're being sold, I mean, he could even be around 51. If tackles ain't being run on, it could happen. If other positions are pushed on, and then there's there's definitely a good pick, I think, at 51. He's not who I want at 51. The next guy, I guess kind of in my book, after Guyton, would be the guy from USC. I don't think Tomlin would really be able to handle. He's like a penalty kind of guy, you know, so he wouldn't fit. But he would be probably a better swing tackle in the future than Dan Moore is, just because he does both. And Dan, you know, I'm a fan of Dan, so. But I don't know. It's he does do both, you know, and has done both, you know. So, and I move away. Then I start thinking, well, going with JPJ, you know. I really I want Zach Frazier. The big thing is because of his heart, but the bigger thing was because of the snaps he played. I think it's 3 years starting. You know, that is a lot of time on the field doing the job. You know, if you're doing your job, I do my job. We make mistakes. We do things along the way. The more times you do things, the better you get, the more efficient you get, you know. But I really like JPJ because if you get to watch stuff on him, the way he plants his feet, and it's that sexy word, anchoring. He anchors well. You know, that refrigerator just, you know. Like, do you ever get dreamy and think, like, maybe JPJ could be like a modern-day offensive line version of the Big Snack? Just occupying area. You know, he's like 3 1/4, 320. He's a big boy. But it's going to be tough because my other, probably not very popular pick was going to be kid out of Michigan, junior, the middle linebacker. That would be my 51 pick. I think he'd fit well with us, and I think that is a valuable pick at 51 if we're not moving around. So basically what I'm telling you is that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I go this way, and I go that way, and I go this way, and I go that way, you know. And I started off, like I said, with the idea that I was going to go on about, I wanted to think that we were going to get a quality free agency center, you know, and then I'm going back to, you know, the draft. And then I ended up watching a podcast. So it came out maybe Thursday or Friday, and I've been looking forward to it actually because it was advertised on the Sick podcast. Marvell Smith, our tackle, was on there, Super Bowl winning tackle. And one of the questions, Jordan and Mike do a really good job on that show, but Mike, I think it was Mike, posed a question. He said something, asked him about a Super Bowl experience. And it really kind of came into, he talked about how the magic of it all happened because of the guys that he was with on that line. They all kind of grew up together. And it really kind of just, it's a great interview. You've got to watch it. He talks about people not wanting to tackle Bettis. It's really great. But that part about this camaraderie that line had coming up together, the youth, you know, they just, and so I'm going to go JPJ in the first, and Michigan linebacker in the second, and that's all you get. But give me what your thoughts are so far, because it's all going to be mixed up. Press like if you would, and if you like to be reminded that you like something in the past, you love it when you like stuff, so you're like, I want to like it again. I want to be reminded, hey, I remember liking it. Press the subscribe button, do the bells. AMF Steeler Nation, have a great week.